Okay, thank you. I want to tell you the story of the logo on this website, which consists of a door and a key. The idea was a gift to me by one of the first patients I ever had. That takes me back over 3.5 decades to a young man in the Bloomfield Mental Hospital in Orange, west of Bathurst. The young man was suffering from autistic spectrum disorder with a superimposed psychosis, so that he never made eye contact. He had the strange gestures typical of his condition, and he spoke with thought disorder of abnormal mental content and disordered speech. I met him at the beginning of a year, and I saw him for a year, twice a week, and I persisted with him because I found him interesting, and I also had to monitor his physical state and his medication. He persisted with me, I suppose you would say, and after about 6 months there was some change in that I found that he was standing by the door of the ward when I arrived. Whether this was saying something about me or was merely coincidence, I don't know, but for the rest of the year there he was each time I arrived, loitering at the door of the ward. Now, nothing much happened until towards the end of the year, when something quite dramatic happened. Now, the dramatic incident was that he told me a story which I could understand, and the story was that he told me that he felt that he was a train, a tragic train. This train had a coal carriage which he described as being on the back of his chest, and he said that the door of the coal carriage was locked and that someone had lost the key. Therefore, the coal carriage was empty of coal, so the train could not move. The firemen could not access coal to put into the furnace to boil the steam to make the train move. Now, the imagery of that is quite poignant. Here is this young man cut off from other people, cut off from the warmth and the enjoyment of interpersonal relationships, and he's telling me that he is a train which cannot move, which is empty, abysmally empty, with no fire, no drive, no movement, nowhere to go, nothing to do. And it seemed to me that in that description, in that imagery, he was telling me of his suffering. And I'd had to wait almost a year for him to be able to put that into words. And it seemed at another level that that was his gift to me for my interest in persevering with him over almost 100 meetings during that year. Unfortunately, I was then rotated to Sydney and I lost track of him. In Sydney, I met one of the best teachers I ever had in psychiatry, Dr. Basil Cameron, who, in another form of words, told me the same thing, although he did not use the imagery of a door and a key. He said that the primary therapeutic ingredient for a therapeutic alliance, particularly with long suffering people, was to show interest, was to persevere in showing genuine interest in the suffering person. He said that all of us human beings are interesting, and that our job with our patients particularly the long-suffering ones, was to find the interesting part of the person, because these people have had the people who were special to them drop away in frustration over a long period of time, and they've been left feeling empty and desolate, not just with their illness, but in their isolation derived from their illness. And Basil's point was that if we showed genuine concern and interest and persisted with that, that would be interpreted as warmth and concern, and perhaps the most positive thing that had happened to these people for a long time. And that, in other words, would be the key to the door in setting up a relationship with the patient. And those two gifts from Basil and from the young man in orange have travelled with me over the years and have been of great benefit to me in helping me in a career in psychiatry, which has been enhanced in its rewards to me by those two very special people I met right back there at the beginning. Thank you for listening.